And we are live. Abracadabra. Or hocus pocus. Welcome, you guys. Welcome to Talk Tuesday. Today we have a special guest. We have Dayn Fleet from the Las Vegas Collect, right? And you can find, I know many of you know him already, but welcome. And Dayn, why don't you tell some of the people who don't know you? Let me also list you guys his, you can find him on Instagram. But go ahead, tell us about yourself, Dayn, before we get into the haunted Vegas.
Awesome. So I'm Dayn, and I run the Las Vegas Collect page on Instagram. It's where I showcase old history and collectibles, giving it kind of like a new life with good edits and pictures and information and history behind them. Yeah, so started off with matchbooks and made my way up to collecting just pretty much anything and everything. Yeah, made a lot of friends and a wonderful community along the way.
Okay.
Branched out to writing books, to traveling more to the city and doing collectible conventions and stuff. So it really blew up. I've done a few podcasts, and I actually run my own with Rob Collects Vegas.
Okay. All right. And so you guys know you're not local to Vegas. You're Canadian.
I'm very far away. Yeah, I'm from the poor man's Vegas. I'm from Niagara Falls.
Okay. Well, I've never been there, and I would think it's beautiful. So
it is beautiful. It's just it's like a little Las Vegas little sister.
All right. So how long have you been doing what you do, collecting and?
It was just before 2020. It hasn't been so long. I actually just got into it right when COVID started, pretty much. I was looking for something to keep me occupied, and I was really into art. And one of the art pieces on a flamingo matchbook just captivated me, and it just spiraled out of there.
Is it a newer one or an older?
Very old, a lot older. It was probably from like the 70s or 60s or so.
And unfortunately, we can share that you don't have your things because you're in the process of moving.
I am moving houses. I'm moving on November 1st, so everything's packed up and secure with bubble wrap. So
yeah, but we're doing haunted Vegas, and I have some pictures and whatnot. But to start off, before we get in that, Susie's Quest said, "Hello, Dayn. Nice to meet you."
Nice to meet you.
And let's see this one. So Tobin asks, "Yeah, you must have an awesome collection." Tobin's into history. Let me tell you too. He's into history, a lot of history in Vegas. So yeah.
So for me, my collection is, like I said, it started off with matchbooks and covers, and then once I got like 5,000 and more, and I still chase those, but I feed own history of hotels that have passed and stories that have happened in certain places. So when it comes to chips and ashtrays and jackets and swizzle sticks, whatever it is, I have to have it.
Okay. And Liz asks, and I was going to ask that next. I was going to say, what's your prized possession? But she says, what's your favorite item and why?
Ooh. Well, for me, I don't know if you guys know the case of Ted Binion, Benny Binion's son. He was actually allegedly murdered by his wife for his treasure, which was silver dollars and chips and all of his money that was buried in the desert. That money was retrieved from the desert, and I actually have a piece of his treasure. And it's graded and stuff. It's a silver dollar, actually.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. You have to keep that.
Yeah.
You definitely do. You definitely do. And Tobin says, yes, he knows about you. Yes, you like I said, a lot of the people in the chat that visit my channel know about you.
Well, that means a lot.
So let's get into it. In the spirit of Halloween, October in the spirit of all things Vegas,
Mhm.
let's talk about haunted Vegas. Let's start off with, and I wanted to share. I didn't know, is this true that you think the Luxor, the most haunted hotel in Vegas?
I think it could potentially be one of the most haunted places in America.
Share with us about.
So for me, it obviously starts off with the structure. I personally believe that the Egyptians mastered the structure of the pyramid in a way that no one should replicate. I believe there's lots of curses behind Egyptian culture and stuff too. Um, it is known that people have died while making and creating the Luxor when it was being built in 92, 91, up to 93. So that's obviously one thing too. Another thing too is all their exhibits are like kind of horror based. So they have Titanic and they have things from the actual sunken ship. I don't know, but there could be some spirits that come with that. They also have King Tut's exhibit, and
Mhm.
they have some of his actual things that he was buried with. I'm sure those weren't supposed to leave his sight. So
Mhm.
the fact that those are in there, yeah.
Right.
So and then for me, I personally think that the biggest thing is when you go there and you open that door and walk in,
Mhm.
that feeling, it doesn't feel like when you're walking into the Mirage or Wind.
True. I stayed in the Luxor once, and you know what? When I did go in there, I didn't. Strangely enough, I wasn't like, oh, cool, cool. It was just like I went into sleep, and and I left.
Yeah,
But it
yeah.
wasn't like I wanted to hang out. And that you say that, Liz Surprise said, here she says right here, she said that hotel I felt sick. She goes, by the registration desk and on the second floor.
So I know exactly where she's talking about, and right when you walk in, you're kind of getting that Egyptian feel with all those scripture and stuff. And once again, I don't know 100%, but a lot of that stuff, that scripture on the walls, is sacred, and copying it and mimicking it for people's enjoyment in Vegas is probably not the best idea. But and don't get me wrong, I wanna set the score here. I love the Luxor. I visit every time I go. It's a beautiful place. But is it haunted, and is there more to the story? And I truly believe there is.
Right, right. So I took, well, my producer, my he took some notes, and one of the things was he was talking about on the 12th floor, the 12th floor and the 26th floor are
Mhm.
supposed to have. He was saying that guests claim they have been strangled in their sleep by a blonde woman on the 12th floor, and they wake up in a cold sweat with palpitations. It's called the deadly blonde. Have you heard? Yeah.
Yeah, so I've heard about the cases of certain hallways and certain rooms having that cold breeze and that cold feel, the goosebumps come. But I have heard of people actually waking up, gasping for breath, and seeing a blonde figure. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
also led to a few. I don't know if that's the reason why, but there's been some cases of actual suicides, and not a lot of people know, but there's no balcony on the outside of the pyramid, obviously, but the balconies are on the inside. So when
Yes.
you open your door to leave your room, you're at a balcony that looks down into the lobby and into restaurants and stuff. And people have jumped,
Really?
either being pushed or, having
Wow.
mental illness.
True that. True that.
Yeah.
That is true. And then on the 26th floor it was like a woman. Okay, here we go. On the 26th floor, it said a woman jumped to her death from the interior balcony. Uh,
Yeah.
and so they claim that on that 26th floor, that her spirit is haunting that floor.
Yeah. I believe that happens to most of the hotels that have had fires or have had people that have jumped. Luckily, Las Vegas, besides a few of the newer casinos, they don't actually have balconies. So your window is just what you have. There's
Yeah.
nothing to go outside for that reason. But places like the Cosmo and stuff like that, they have balconies. So it's sad, but I believe that a spirit, maybe even feeling, can stick around when something traumatic like that happens at a hotel.
Hmm. And then just a side note, Baby Love 702, she goes, she remembers you from an interview with Side Bet podcast.
Yeah, so side bets Renee, and
Okay.
I've been on his podcast a bunch. He stopped it for a little bit. He's going on different adventures and stuff. But Renee, he was actually my best man at my
Oh,
wedding.
all right. That's
Yeah.
cool. So again, like you said, the Titanic artifacts surrounded by death, right? I mean, that's a theme of death.
Yeah. So King
And
Tut's, like, you shouldn't be removing the things he was buried with. All the stuff that sunk with the Titanic probably should have just stayed at the bottom of the ocean. And
mhm.
they also have one more exhibit called Bodies. I'm not sure if it's still there, but
I believe it is still.
yeah.
I
So
think
that's actual dead bodies, skeletons of actual people. So maybe their spirit lingers on with their body and goes where it goes.
okay, I'm going to correlate something. All right. I kind of come from a Christian background, right? And I read the Bible a lot, right?
Yep.
Well, not right, not that, but I read the Bible. And I think of like in Daniel, which is a prophetic book about the future, right?
Hmm.
Daniel talking to God and waiting for a prayer. But then Michael, the archangel's trying to get to him, but demonic forces, or not Michael, I think it's Gabriel's trying to get to him, and demonic forces, he has to battle, right? And it's
Yep.
delaying him to get that message from God to Daniel. And then Michael, the archangel, the big guy, kind of had to come in and help, right? So, and God says we don't battle against flesh and blood, we battle against, powers and principalities.
Hmm.
It says that in the Bible. We battle against powers and principalities, things that you cannot see. And when we get caught up and want to fight with each other, God says that's not really it. It's the things going on behind the scenes that you can't see that's
Hmm.
driving this. So Daniel was in Persia, Iran, right? And so it was the king of Persia, a principality, demonic principality that was stopping Gabriel from coming. So basically, the demons and demonic forces, they're kind of they're territorial.
Oh, for sure. I
They're,
totally agree.
they're territorial because if we're talking the king of Persia and the demonic, and so not only are they don't just run solo, they have their minions.
Hmm.
And so maybe the Luxor, there's a power and principality that's over that's
Well,
driving that negative and death energy.
I think it could be even bigger than just the Luxor. I think it's the whole land that Las Vegas is built on, and I think it takes a powerful person to defeat those thoughts and feelings and those demonic
Mhm,
whatever can come your way.
mhm.
Obviously, you could live a beautiful life in Las Vegas and have a beautiful job working at one of the hotels, but for
Right.
negative energy, I believe that the whole entire city does have it. I'm not just saying Vegas is the only place on earth. It's not the portal to hell or anything, but every city has their own spot and stuff like that. But Vegas, if you look deep enough, every square inch of Vegas has a story to tell that's leaning towards the haunted side.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my goodness. It's a lot of history here, and that is for sure. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, and the last thing, and what you said earlier, like the pyramid, the Egyptian theme evokes ancient curses, according to some. And there's one thing that he wrote that he mentioned the man in a pinstripe suit. Do you know that story at the Luxor? there are several sightings of this man has been on the walkways and upper levels, but no one knows, So some man in a pinstripe suit likes to. I
I
don't
think
know.
I did hear about something like that.
To me, that was like a mob figure. I don't know.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
sort of into being? When did the Lux? Do you know? I don't know. Tobin, do you know? Does anybody know when was the Luxor? I don't
What
know.
what was it before the Luxor?
No, when was it established? Do you know the year?
1993.
Okay, so it's kind of newer. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not mob air. Well, there's probably still some type of mob around, but not like how they were back in the 80s and earlier than that.
Yeah. What was the property before? Do you know? I don't know. I didn't research that.
I should know, and I think it's stored somewhere up there, but I,
Tobin
I
may
think it was
know.
just an empty lot, to be
Oh,
honest.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
maybe Tobin will let us know. I'm curious. What was poltergeist? Was it a
It was probably a graveyard of some sort, a native graveyard.
and okay, there is no mafia. All right. Well, so yeah, the Lux. Well, maybe I'm gonna have to go to the Luxor for a visit for Halloween. Not that I like that, but just in yeah. I was
Do your own. Go ahead. Sorry.
I said I was in there recently, maybe a few months ago, because I did the tram,
Yep.
and
Yep.
and so I kind of went through there a little bit, but yeah, I don't go in there much. But what were you gonna say? Do my own what?
It was. I like to do my own little tours, right? And I don't want anyone to tell me where to go or which direction to go into, as long as it's like I'm out of the employees area. I like to go and you know fish around and smell around and see what I can experience and what I can see. Me and my co-host Rob, we went to Binion/Apache to go find the haunted room 400, and
Okay.
we found it, and then it was just this really cool adventure and stuff. It's on my page if someone wants to go and check it out.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
it's I encourage everyone to go to a hotel and even just ask an employee and just say, like, has anything haunted happened here, or is there haunted history? And then just go explore a little bit and go off the beaten trail a little bit.
Yes. And so Tobin, he said it was a trailer park before, no previous hotel.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Thank you, Tobin. I
I'm gonna
tell
go
you,
find pictures of that actually after this.
yeah, thank you, Tobin. I tell you, he's the history. Yeah, you guys have to
Yeah.
connect.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
he has a lot of history. Okay, so interesting. A trailer park. Wow. All right. So the next thing that we want to get into is the other story of the flamingo. Since we were talking about the matchbook that you had, that the artwork of the flamingo, and last night I was just watching the movie Bugsy because I hadn't seen it in years.
So good.
And that movie reminded me that, okay, every time I go into the El Cortez,
Hmm.
I love it because you see Meyer Lansky, Bugsy Siegel, and there's this woman that I see, in this hat and I don't know, a coat, and she looks like she's in a courtroom. I'm like, who is the woman? And I've been saying this for a year. Who is this woman, right? And then last night when I'm watching Bugsy, and they're talking about Virginia Hill. I'm
Hmm.
like, let me Google Virginia Hill. And then that's the woman, Virginia Hill.
Really?
I'm like, that's Virginia Hill. And so I'm watching this movie and just the history. And I didn't really realize that Meyer Lansky, Bugsy Siegel, some Sedway,
Yep.
and another person that they bought El Cortez. And they
Yeah.
owned it. It seemed like this for a year, and
Yeah, it
then
was a very short time.
Bugsy sold it because he wanted to do the flamingo. But they were pissed at him because it was making money. It was profitable, right? It was
Yeah.
profitable. but I don't know if this is true. So when Bugsy took Virginia Hill to El Cortez, she called it a pit hole and she wouldn't walk in there again and it was a dump and blah, blah, blah. And then he decided he's going to build his own, right? And then he called it the Flamingo after her. So
I for my research and stuff, originally the Flamingo was being built by a man by the last name of Wilkerson.
okay.
And he had the vision and he had the name already. Apparently the name, as cool as it would be for it to be named after Virginia Hill, I think it was just named after the love of birds that this Wilkerson guy just had a liking for. Bugsy needed a place, obviously, to skim money and to put his the mob into.
Okay.
So he went and said to Wilkerson, like, we got the money, so if you're having trouble building it, we're on it.
Okay.
But it got to Bugsy's head. He had all these visions and these new visions, and he really wanted it to be this spectacular place on earth that everyone can go to, and it was just beautiful. And he ended up putting too much money into the hotel, and the mafia mob, they had a big meeting and they said, you know what, we got to let this guy go because he is just draining our money. They didn't have the vision that he had, which would later become one of the most successful hotels and still be on the Strip today.
Right. And still now, okay, two things before we get into the haunting at Flamingo. Two things. It was number one that, okay, they said that Virginia Hill, ran money and whatnot and for them, but apparently she was pocketing some money, right?
Oh, I don't put it past them.
To the tune of $2 million. I think
and that was a lot back in the 40s.
Originally, it was supposed to cost $1 million, and then he took it up to $6 million because he kept, geniuses can't stop, and but she was pocketing money, and so I guess it was found out about that, and the mafia too, Meyer Lansky and them thought, well, maybe he knows or not. But then also, the Flamingo opened on December, but not the hotel, just the casino. And they wanted that hotel open because so people could stay. I mean, water could stay. But on December, Christmas Day, it rained. So he had like entertainers coming, but they couldn't fly in because of the rain. So bad weather. And only people that were really there were supposedly Europeans, and they want money to the tune of supposedly $320,000.
Yeah.
But they didn't stay. So they left with the money. So now they're doubly pissed.
Yeah.
And then apparently, and this is the movie, and then reading a little bit, they told him to come home, back to California. And then
and that's the reason why, is because they wanted to put an end to that.
And it said that after a week of his death, that Virginia Hill gave that $2 million back to Meyer Lansky.
Well, that's probably her best bet. But yeah, that's pretty true from what I read too, that the opening day was kind of shambles. The weather was horrible. And I'm sure he was biting his nails that night because he wanted it to be this red carpet event and have all these famous people come from LA. But yeah, didn't work out.
It didn't work out. And so, what I found out too, she died in Austria, like at 49. They say she committed suicide.
Oh, wow.
That she left a little note saying she was tired or whatever. But yeah, at 49, she committed suicide. So I have some slides. So tell us the story of the Flamingo and Mr. Bugsy Siegel here.
Well, I think, and this is just my theory, is that for some reason in the 40s, this hotel meant more to him than what people think. It was a part of him. It was something it was a goal that he had to reach. He was just obsessing over it. When it flunked, it was almost like, you know, losing an arm or losing a leg. It was just devastating for him. And he really wanted to prove to everyone that it was worth this much money and it's going to be this crazy thing. You know, when he was, you know, shot and killed at Virginia's house in Los Angeles, I don't believe that his spirit and his soul and all that stayed there. I believe that he went right back to the Flamingo, and because that's where he felt was home. You know, he had his own, you know, suite there and everything, and it was his baby. So where we are today, they've actually have a plaque with his face on it in the garden in the backyard of the
Okay.
Flamingo, talking about what he's done and accomplished there and why he's so important. But he also has a pretty bad side to him. He was a pretty ruthless person. He'd shoot before asking questions, kind of a thing back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, there's been cases of people seeing him walk around, sit next to them in slots, are sitting in their chair in the suites, just roaming around the garden in the back with the flamingos.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's a strangle you kind of situation, or you're gonna lose your breath like the Luxor
It's
is.
totally different vibe.
But I feel like this is like the sad ghost.
Mm.
You know, he's wandering around looking at what he could have, like his vision and his baby, and he's kind of like, I told you so, but never got to, you know, do it. So it's kind of sad. Well, it's very sad actually, but
Right. And this is supposed to be, well, let me go kind of in, you guys. This is a picture of him as he's relaxing at the Flamingo the day before his death. Right there, he looks old to me, and every other one he doesn't. But right there, he looks much older and frail. Look how frail he looks in his body.
yeah, I've
But
never seen that picture, but it could be because he was so devastated on the loss of the
mm,
opening.
true.
Probably wasn't eating right.
Yes, and that's the day before. And just to go back, you guys, Virginia Hill and Meyer Lansky, along with Bugsy Siegel. Now, the one in the El Cortez, she's older, and I think maybe they had her come back. I think she was at a hearing. She's not as young. Well, you know, she's older. She looks a little different.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then, okay, you guys, in the spirit of macabre, but I can't believe he was shot. It was a drive-by, wasn't it? A drive-by?
Well, someone pulled up and ran up to the
Stop.
window and just shot in the window behind him and just killed him and ran away. And to this day, no one knows who was the killer, but we know who ordered it, right?
Are we saying Meyer? I think it was Meyer.
Well, it had to be a unanimous vote for it to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
So
the group.
maybe even if he didn't want it to happen because that was his brother,
Yeah,
figuratively speaking,
truly.
he still had to agree with a business call, which was which the rest of the guys in the mafia had to. They all said yes, and he said no, but
Yeah,
majority wins.
yes. Um, and then we're kind of, you know, like, man, look at the Flamingo now from what it was. And that's Wayne Newton, you guys. At first, I was like, who is that? But Wayne, who is still playing who is still playing out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were gonna go see him because I stayed at the Flamingo this past June, and we were gonna go see him, but we never got the chance to because we were just running around doing other things. But I actually was trying to, you know, find this wandering sad mob member ghost, but I didn't have any encounters. Maybe I did. I was a little bit I was drinking too much one of the nights, and I might have seen him, but who knows?
Yes,
But keep
but
your eyes out for him. I believe that if you are in the right mindset and in the right place at the right time, you can see him, just wander by or, you know.
oh, what picture are you talking about? Oh, you mean the one where I said he looked a little skinny? Well, he looked a little skinny, a little frail. He looked
Yeah.
to show in the teeth. He's always so like, well, when we see pictures, he's well groomed, and even when he's there shot on the couch, he's dressed with his shoes, and he's well dressed, and he's at home.
Yeah.
At home. So I wonder okay, I was just looking at my notes. Just like you said, little sightings over the years. Some say he's in the presidential sightings in the presidential suite up there at the Luxor. I'm sure it's not the same one.
I
Uh,
think that his suite that he stayed at back in the day is in the same location of where a certain area is today. And I
mhm,
think that that's a heavy spot where people see him, but
mhm.
that's all torn down now. And I believe it's some part of the backyard area because it was the strip wasn't where the strip was today. It was a little bit pushed back a bit
Okay.
um, because there
Okay.
was like different sidewalks and different streets and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Man, if you could go back and if you could have video and just, overlap it and just show the changes of
oh
that,
yeah,
it would just. So, what
uh,
do you think of the changes going on now? Have you been, let's see, oh, hello, Polly. Before I ask this question, he goes, some of the mob story shows that Bugsy was shot by Virginia Hill's brother, who was a Marine sniper. Have you heard that?
ooh,
That's new information for me.
that'd be interesting.
Huh. Why? Because what was the motive? Did they say Polly? Because they didn't want her around him. Seems like she was also with another kind of gangster guy before him, too. So, but she was an actress, too. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I don't
I,
know.
you ever heard that story about the sniper, Marine sniper? Mm.
I'm gonna do some research after and see if anything pops up for that. But it's interesting.
Yeah, it definitely so. Um, and to know that the mob did call him home. Oh, what did Dave said the motive was dollars
Oh yeah.
every time, every time. Oh, and okay. It was said that there's also because you talk about the sad, the sadness, right? It's a totally different vibe than a sick feeling, an awful feeling at the Luxor,
Mhm.
but a sad vibe. So it also said, besides the presidential suite, that he roams around the wedding chapel and also the garden.
Mhm.
So, like, maybe those are things of, the sadness of lost love, lost,
Yeah,
dream, you know.
and it's probably just him admiring too what it is now, and maybe it was a vision for him back in the day. Maybe he wanted it to wanted it to look like how it looks today. So he's
Mhm.
very captivated probably with the flamingo sanctuary, the pools, the chapel, the beautiful trees and plants and flowers. So if I was
Yeah,
going to be a ghost to go wander through stuff, it'd be back there for sure.
yeah. And to me, it's just incredible because about this time last year, October 9th, they imploded Tropicana,
Hmm.
you know, and shortly after Tropicana, the mirage is changing and coming. But that damn flamingo, which was before them, right?
Yeah.
Before them, is still there.
Well, I think that it's located in like up the perfect area to maintain itself very well. Because it's across the street from Caesars and it's across the street from
Yeah,
Bellagio.
center
Yeah,
strip.
it's in a perfect location. So I think it kind of just like it probably will be there well after I'm alive and for a very long time because the people are starting to love the history.
Mm-hmm.
When I first got into getting into Vegas and the Vegas history, it was it was like just documentaries you can find on YouTube. There was never anyone like really enticed and excited about the collectibles and the history and stuff to the point where we're doing podcasts.
Right.
And since I started doing it and making my page, I've realized that people are very curious of what was there before, what happened at this certain location, because people think that it's just a hotel. You go, you stay, you leave. But
Yes.
think of the history of the mob, and then think of the history of millions and millions of people coming in and out of this place with different stories. Lots and lots of things can happen, and every day we're making history for the future, and it's just really really cool that I could be a part of it and you could be a part of it.
Yeah. I got, I'm coming up to speed. I visit Vegas so many times because I am from California, but I didn't, like I didn't come for history lesson, but I
No.
came to Vegas. But I am coming up to speed because it's quite fascinating. And even the movies, of course, that you see, not only the mob movies, but when you see that one, the comedy movies that they do in Vegas, just all Vegas. It's just very interesting. But this is even more interesting. So have you been to the Haunted Mansion? Or not mansion, museum? The Haunted Mansion is Disney.
No, I haven't gone to that yet. No.
Yeah, okay. So Dave asks, what about Westgate and the Elvis ghost?
I actually wrote a story in one of my books about Elvis and what I think happened with him, and
Okay.
the story about the Westgate. If, and this is a big if, Elvis actually died,
Okay.
I believe that he could potentially be wandering those halls because he had a pretty lengthy um, contract with the Westgate, to the point where it was almost like he was a prisoner in that hotel.
Okay.
And so I think that there was a big, big, big part of his life, even from movies to music to love, and everything in between. Elvis and Vegas have almost this yin and yang kind of life to them, right? So if he did die, which I don't really
Okay.
believe he did,
Okay. Okay.
I think that if he did die, then his ghost is wandering those halls, and maybe he's on stage at night when everyone's asleep.
At sleep. You know who's on stage at night there? Who I can't believe? Barry Manilow. He's still out there, singing and whatnot. So
I
Renee,
love the old guys talking. All right,
yeah,
yeah, that's good.
Renee says she would never stay close to the Flamingo, but she thinks that it still needs a bit of old Vegas.
Yeah, it's what was the last part that she said? I can't read.
That the strip still needs some bits of old Vegas.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And you know what? I think that
Mhm.
Vegas is doing a good job keeping some of the old stuff around.
Mhm.
Sadly, a lot of the motels on
Mhm.
the north end of the strip are leaving, like the Diamond Inn,
Yeah,
the Blue Diamond, I think it's called.
yeah. You probably know better than me. I see them, but when I drive down Fremont and whatnot, and in that area, they're just so. I wish I had money because,
I would open one too, trust me.
yeah, I wish I had money. I would take one of those because you just, and they're just there. And
They're very pretty, but it's the skeleton version of what was once, right?
yeah, yeah, I wish I did have money to do that. So I want to share with you guys. Let me add this to the stage. Let me go back here. So Dayn has his he does his you have 3 books, Dayn, right? And you guys you can find his books. It's lulu.com, right, Dayn? Do they
Yep.
need to put in lulu.com?
If you just go to Lulu Publisher,
Okay.
you just type in Into the Meadows and they'll
Right.
pop up. But if you go to my Instagram, it's the link that's in the bio as well.
Okay. And let me list your Instagram right here. So if you go to his Instagram, you guys, and it's in his link, But you have three. Excuse me, you guys.
It's okay.
It happens on the news station at times. But let me show you. So you have three books: Into the Meadows 2, and Into the Meadows Road to Neon. And you mentioned that these books uh, that the proceeds go to charity from these books. So tell us, what are these books that you have written about?
So I loved to get to know the history of Vegas, and I wanted to own the history somehow. And I didn't know how to own the history besides owning the collectibles. And the collectibles can go, right? I wanted to have something that was very personable to me. So I started to write stories about my personal experiences in Vegas that were kind of more unique, that would catch people's interest. I didn't know where I was going to post it. I just was writing.
Okay.
And then what I decided to do is I wanted to take stories based off of true events that have happened in Vegas and then do a little spin on it to make it a little bit more interesting to read. And each book has 12 mini stories with characters and fun little tales and stuff like that. And it really goes down the line with mystery and thrill, and it really gives Vegas a voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the difference? So you have so the Road to Neon, is that a particular era that
Yeah,
you
so the Road to Neon is it's a story on its own.
okay.
The other ones are 12 chapters, 12 different stories. This one's just one story, so it's like a one-off.
Okay.
In my little vault over here at my house, I have about 5 to 6 big stories I want to publish within the next, I don't know, couple months or so.
Okay.
But these are the ones I have out right now.
Okay.
So they're slowly trickling out. I'm gonna have a big, huge series of them. So
All right. All right. Okay.
yeah.
So one question's asked, what about any Howard Hughes ghost stories out there?
Ooh, I don't know. I would have to say,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Wherever the silver slipper was, I think that's where he would haunt.
He likes to be alone, so I don't think he's trying to get out there.
Well, apparently he hated that sign. So
So I really don't think he's trying to get out there.
no.
Oh, well, I think, do you guys have any questions that you want to ask after everything you heard? And then, what is this? Liz says, I heard something about the fire where the horseshoe is, that somebody reportedly on the 25th floor couldn't sleep because they kept hearing screaming.
Yeah. So that used to be the old MGM Grand,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a big fire. I think it was due to one of like the dishwashers or like a kitchen staff. He lit a fire and it started getting out of control. It killed a lot of people. It was actually really devastating, but apparently a lot of people hear screaming and they can't breathe because of the smoke that was there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can still use the stairwell where a lot of people had their last breath in.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
but it's the horseshoe now. It used to be
Yeah.
Bowie's.
Yes, right. I think MGM was smart to move its location.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know, let's go somewhere. But obviously, that's land, and somebody's going to take that spot.
yep,
I do remember that fire. I do remember that. That was horrendous,
yeah. That was
right?
a while back.
Yeah. Was it the 80s? I don't know.
I think
Maybe
it was
the,
'89.
okay. Do you guys have any other questions for Dayn? Please check out his Instagram. You want to check out, find a link to his books. You can check out your Instagram. You have pictures and things of your collectibles. If you guys want to see some of the things that he has collected, definitely check out his Instagram, and you will see what he has, and then so Renee missed the first part, but she goes, "How long have you been collecting Vegas?" And I can't say that word. Can you read it? Affirm. How do you say that? Affirm. EP. Vegas stuff.
I missed the first part of the interview. This question also asked before, how long have you been collecting Vegas? Well, all the collectibles, all my Vegas stuff I've been collecting for about 5 years. So everything I have, somehow I accumulated it within 5 years.
Okay.
So it's more or less not a collection. It's more of a museum because nothing's for sale. It's just a showcase.
Okay. Okay. And Baby Love asks, what inspired you to start collecting?
It would have to be the love of the art of how things used to be, but then it trickled into an obsession of owning history and owning a part of what was once.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Did you show up around when was the last time you were here? Were you here around when they were selling stuff in the Mirage?
Yeah, so the last time I was in Vegas was in June of this summer, and I saw the base of it going up. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. I love the Mirage with all my heart. I think it's one of my favorite places, but you know, they sold it to Hard Rock, and for some reason we need a big guitar on the strip. So
I'm wondering what's going to happen to the hotel, the original that they're going to redo or whatever that they kept.
Well, the exterior. The exterior will look the same, but the interior is going to be different, I'm assuming. And then
don't you think that the guitar is blocking? It's going to be
it's going to block it from one angle. So if you're coming down towards the south end from the north, you're going to see the guitar and you're not going to see anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Because your eyes are just going to be captivated on this big
guitar. Of the people in the room,
that could also be a thing too, right? So if you're staying at like Treasure Island or Caesars or something, you're going to see it and it's going to be annoying.
Sure. No, but the people in the Mirage itself, the part that they're keeping.
Oh yeah.
They're probably the ones who are really good because it's going to be boosh in their face.
So you're probably just going to see blue glass, and that's all you're going to see.
Because that thing is blocking the people who, if you do stay at the Mirage and you get into the older Mirage, stay at the Hard Rock and you get into the old Mirage, that guitar, the way they have it positioned, how that hotel, it's like.
No. Yep, I agree with you. And the worst part
of that part right here, the guitar is there.
Well, maybe it'll be cheaper rooms for the bad view. So, and the worst part about the Hard Rock is that there's no horror history. There's no horror on it. So
yeah. Well, we'll see.
Well, hopefully nothing bad happens there. Like, I don't like the idea of change when it comes to the Mirage, but at the same time, I don't want to see anything happen bad.
Yeah. I was. I know when they the last day, they were. They had the big money giveaway. How they decided to do it, give it back instead of let the gaming commission come in and get it or whatever. They were selling, a lot of stuff. So.
Yeah, apparently if you could take it off the wall, you can own it. And they did the same thing with the Riviera and the Stardust.
Do you have any Tropicana memorabilia? Lots of Tropicana.
Lots of stuff, yeah. Okay. I got chips, I got ashtrays, I got windbreaker jackets, swizzle sticks, pens.
Okay.
Everything.
Yeah. So you guys, again, you can go check out some of the things that he has on his Instagram. Again, let me put it. Okay. I have to do this. Las Vegas, Instagram.com, Las Vegas _collect. Go support him. We look forward to what you got coming up. Baby Love says that, and I missed it. She goes, "Thank you so much, Dayn, for your
Thank you
interview."
guys.
Yes, thank you very much. Uh, and this Dave is asking, "Can you come back when you unpack?"
Well,
We'll
my
give you some time.
my collection's always growing, and I like to accumulate stuff myself too. I like to go when I go to Vegas. I have backpacks just full of stuff.
That's
My
right.
what's it called? My luggage goes when I get there, it's empty, but when I leave, it's full.
Smart man.
I'll take plates. I'll take whatever. I almost took the hotel phone once, but I decided not to.
Smart man. Do you stay at the El Cortez? You ever stayed there?
I've never stayed at Del Cortez, but my last trip, I actually gambled there a lot.
Okay. Was it a
So
good?
I love them. I love them there. They're great. They're really good with content and filming and stuff. And we had a content creator gathering party for a bunch of people that do vlogs and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Gambling Granny?
No, not her event. I've always wanted to go to her event, but this was something that my friend Renee put on from the Side Bet podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, so he threw a party and then a few people came. It was fun, but they catered us very well. It was nice.
So the next time you guys do that, shout out the locals. We'll come down, support.
100%. It was short notice, but yeah.
That's all right. And Liz says thank you. And then again, okay, before Renee says, do you have a favorite hotel or casino?
You know, they all have unique stories and unique moments, but for me right now, I'm gonna say that it's the Plaza. I love the Plaza. I love the staff is unbelievable. The food's unbelievable. The gambling's really neat. It's different. It's in a very, very great location. Yeah, there's Aquarius. He's the host.
Okay.
And Jonathan Jostle is the CEO, and they're two really good guys. They do a lot for the community. They do a lot for the gamblers that are there. They actually do like an all-inclusive too, if you're looking to stay and do kind of like a all-inclusive style.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but they cater to a lot of people, and they cater to a lot of different trippers, so it's kind of cool.
And Dave said he loves the CEO at the Plaza. Doesn't he do the podcast on Main Street or something Main Street?
Yeah, they do. They do. Sorry, I got a little doggy.
So that's fine.
Yeah, they do the on the corner of Main.
Yeah, on the corner of Main. And speaking of food, I did eat at the steakhouse there.
Yeah, so did I. It's great.
Isn't it?
Oh, it's so beautiful.
So beautiful. And so I'll have to get around to the other. Someone told me my Josh 702, who was on last week, he said his favorite pizza place was in the Plaza. I can't remember the name he said, but I guess there's some pizza place that he could get pizza slices, and he said his favorite place was in the Plaza. So
I'll have to check that out.
So the Plaza, 2 weeks in a row. Thumbs up. Well, thank you so much, Dayn, for spending time with us. Again, you guys, let me list his Instagram page, and also let me show this again.
Oh, it means so much.
Yes, definitely go check out at Lulu Publishing. Lulu Publishing, Into the Meadows. He has 3 books, Vegas content. What would you say, fun? Describe the content of your books again for us.
It's mystery and thrill of Las Vegas, and it's a bunch of unbelievable characters, and it all goes to a good cause.
All to a good cause. Thank you so much, Dayn, and happy move. That's here for me.
Thank you so much. It means a lot.
Yeah, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, yes.
Yes, and thanks for sharing the haunted stories. Thank you so much to our mods for being here. And you guys have a great night, and we'll see you around, Dayn. Thank you
Thanks
again
for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming. Good night, you guys. Yes.